Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. And may I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to raise your hand if you know the fairy tale of the hare and the hedgehog race. Who does know this fairy tale? So, for those who don't, it's a story about the race between a hare and a hedgehog, between two unequal animals with a favorite hare on the one side that is losing race after race against the weaker but smarter hedgehog. Why is he losing? Because the hedgehog is using his look-alike wife waiting at the finish line to win race after race. And after 73 races, the hare collapses, exhausted, and dies. Well, you probably wonder what this kid's story has to do with today's Global RegTech Summit. Every time I'm searching, I'm thinking about crime and fraud, this story, this race comes up to my mind because you have on the one side the companies that act like the hares running after the sly and cunning hedgehog, who are the criminals, the fraudsters, winning race after race and causing severe damage. And even if today's regulatory requirements with KYC, AML, and these kind of things has a certain better success rate than 0 out of 73, it shall illustrate the importance of that topic, and there is no space for failure. My name is Martin Schmid. I'm VP Ident and RegTech of FinTecSystems and part of the founding team. We are an open banking provider, so we are the expert in accessing and analyzing bank transactions, which we also use to solve regulatory requirements for our clients. We believe that compliance, user experience, and fighting fraud are not mutually exclusive because we use this technology to solve regulatory requirements. So, accessing bank accounts, you might ask very quick 2 questions. Why is FinTecSystems allowed to access bank data? And how is FinTecSystems doing that technically? And the answer is quite simple. Well, because we are acting on base of PSD2. And we are using that technology, that regulatory, to access these bank data. And for those who are not familiar with PSD2, let me explain real quick. It's a set of law regulation that stands for faster, more innovative, and more secure payment market and enables us, like a third-party provider who are licensed, to get access to consumers and business bank accounts. And talking about open banking technology, it always starts with an end user here on the left side, which is using your client service. So for instance, on a BNPL flow, on a gambling platform, applying for a loan or trading cryptocurrencies. And your part, or the part of the RegTech, is to mitigate any fraud risk and to help your client to solve and to comply with regulatory requirements. And at that point, FinTecSystems can help RegTechs to do this better by using that PSD2 license and the connectivity to over 6,000 different banks, which equals more than 500 different bank account users. So probably you ask also, who the hell would give access to the holy grail to your bank data or to the bank data of your clients? Who the hell would give access to? Well, reality shows account holders do that because they have some really crucial benefits out of that. One example is they can apply for loans more automatically because they don't need to send in any paperwork. They just log in into their bank account on the lending portal and get that loan granted within, minutes or even seconds. Or they can verify their person without going to a branch doing a face-to-face KYC. They just use their bank login to use what's called a bank ident to verify their person and even their age. Within a BNPL flow, if you are rejected as a customer, you do have the possibility of doing a second or running into a second chance flow by just accessing your bank account data, because everything someone needs to evaluate your person, to verify your person and your creditworthiness is within the account. The salaries, the rent, any kind of incomes or spendings. And last but not least, if you are using online services like on a gaming platform, you always need to verify where your money comes from, which you use to do a transaction. And normally you are asked to do this, sending in your paper-based work, but you can do that paperless with using open banking, giving access to your bank data. So since this all is very theoretically, I have brought some examples with me. First example, probably one of the most hottest topic in payments right now, which is BNPL, buy now, pay later, which has a lot of potential for growth, but also a lot of potential for fraud at the same time. Yeah? And probably the most crucial question for BNPL is, how do you maximize the acceptance rate? Or in other words, how can you optimize the false negatives and the false positives? Sorry. And the typically ratio of a BNPL flow is 65% are right away green. So they are approved, they are accepted because they are known customers, existing customers, they have good credit bureau data. On the other side, 10% are always typically red, so rejected right away because they are unknown or they have weird basket purchasing behavior or the credit bureau data is just not good about them. What about this 25% unknown customers, so the undefinable, the customers of doubt? Just reject them? Well, we say no. And through open banking, we enable second chance loop, which means customers that are normally rejected because they are yellowish orange, they have the chance to log in into their bank account, to get verified by name, to get verified regarding their creditworthiness, because everything is there in the account, which you need to evaluate if that person is able and willing to pay future installments. And the results are quite interesting. We do have one of our partners, is a RegTech company that is serving a major fashion retailer. And since using open banking and providing this second chance loop, they have increased conversion of about 19%. And I mean, consider that number compared to how much a new customer costs. Another example I've brought with me is about preventing money laundering, especially for online services like doing or being on a gambling portal, trading cryptocurrencies, or on a real or sharing and selling real estates. Normally, there are source of funds, source of wealth checks mandatory. And investigating these financial sources is always very paper-based, very expensive, because there is a lot of friction and a lot of physical interaction between your client or the company and the consumer. And statistics show that these kind of checking these source of funds, doing that by asking your customer, please send in your salary slip, asking for more documents, verifying them, this entire process has an internal cost factor of over 150 euro. By using open banking, checking these source of funds can be reduced by about 80% because the customer just logs in during the onboarding process in his online banking, and there is access to this creditworthiness of that customer and showing, okay, where does the money come from, which he's playing with. And one of our partners, which is here Checkingcom, they are using our open banking technology through or within their onboarding process for globally online services, online products. And the way they are doing it, right at the beginning of that onboarding process, they are asking their customers or the customers of their clients to log in into their bank account. And by doing that, they can verify the name, they can verify where the money comes from, which they are using to play. And with a result, that this complex KYC process can be done in a state-of-the-art manner, the number, the quality, and the speed of these sign-ups could be massively increased. So if you ask yourself, how does this look like? So FinTecSystems, you are providing these kind of reports, this kind of analysis of bank account data. I've brought some examples or some samples with me. What you see here is how we use the raw transactional data directly of bank accounts and to customize it into a meaningful financial overview. So starting here at the very left corner, it starts with the core data. So who is the account holder? What's his IBAN? What kind of account he's using? Is this a single or joint account? Is the person of legal age, so over or under 18? Which all can be estimated through the bank transactions. At the right is an example of what kind of KPIs we are configuring or customizing, which is here the financial capability, containing all the incomes, all the spendings, and the ratio of it, even if it's an average figure or a median or whatsoever. Underneath, you see the account status containing all connected accounts, even if there are credit cards connected with all the balances and the credit lines or the limits. Below there is just one sample containing gambling. We do have over 240 categories, which enables us to structure all this transactional data into specific categories. And here we structured all gambling activities on a monthly basis. What's very crucial also for a source of funds, or the most crucial part, is where does the money comes from, which you earn. And here we list all the counter holder parts. So actually, is it a salary? From which company is it coming from? And so on. And at the very bottom, you see also a rating. It's not a score, it's a rating. It's a quality rating of that specific account. Since we've seen billions of transactions and millions of accounts, we know exactly which is a good account, which is not a good account, referring to how much transactions are within that account or the ratio of specific KPIs. If you still ask yourself, okay, how can you benefit as a RegTech or as a company from open banking? Let me summarize real quick. By retrieving more data in real time, you can massively increase your value proposition towards your clients, but also for your shareholders. And the increased conversion will be a result of an enhanced efficiency and a better user experience. And at the end, altogether, with a wider range of service, you can massively increase your revenues for you and for your clients. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot change history, but what we can do is we can help the hare win future races. Thank you very much. Yes.
My understanding of open banking is that it struggles with consent, and obviously you suggested that 25% go into that middle category of unknown, yet the uplift was 19%. So that suggests the majority of those customers are actually giving consent to view their open banking details. Is that correct?
Well, the thing is, there's certainly an obstacle giving access, for sure. However, if there is a benefit, so if you ask 100 persons on the street, would you give access to your bank account? I would bet on it. 100 would say, are you nuts? If they are rejected within a BNPL flow and they want that product and they want to pay after delivery, they use it. They do it because there is something which where they benefit from. And what is the alternative? The alternative is to send them away without having or generating any purchase. Does that answer your question? I mean, what we've seen, because we are coming from the payment sector, because we've built up before FinTecSystems, I don't know if you know Sofortüberweisung, which was bought by Klarna. We're kind of the initiators of PSD2, and we always stand for you need to communicate to the customers properly. If you just say log in into your bank account, we want to see it, nobody will do that. However, if you communicate properly, what's the purpose behind it? Why do we evaluate your financial situation? People understand it and do it. Does it answer your question?
Yes, it does. But just ask, do you see it varying across industries and that you apply this to?
It varies from industry, and even within the industry, it varies from customer to customer because of different ways of communicating that feature to the customer. Like I said, you just cannot throw it to the customer asking to log in. You need to communicate what the benefit for him is or for her. So we've started in the banking sector with automated loan applications. And at the very beginning, everyone told us, I wouldn't do that, why should my customers do that? And the fact that they are doing it convinced also the companies to change their mindset, because one of the most rejection reasons, or how do I see it, is that the worm needs to be tasty for the fish and not for the fisherman. And that's a little bit a problem of the industry, because everyone is like, in this audience, probably no one would need a loan or a credit, but our customers need it, and they need it urgently. So we just give them an abbreviation, a shortcut to get to the loan by providing this kind of technology.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you very much indeed.
Otherwise, we are running around and just grab us.
Hopefully people take advantage of that. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, appreciate it.